Hey, welcome back to the Homie Chat podcast. I am your more important host. I'm Bergnut, and I'm also joined as always by my man. What is his name?
It's me.
Uh huh.
Hello, everyone.
What a great way to start. Well, today we have our second guest. We have ChrisArcade. How you doing, man?
Well, I'm here
Yeah,
on
you're
a
here.
podcast for like the first time ever.
Oh, first time ever?
Yeah.
Wow, I could have sworn I saw you on the Joe Rogan show last week, but all right.
I mean, after the show, I got in a fist fight with Joe, and I basically begged him not to air the podcast, and he just beat the shit out of me. So it was like not even wasn't even close.
Oh, I
So
see.
yeah,
Hmm.
I lost that one. But yeah, so this is the first official one that I'm like totally okay with.
Yeah, the one that didn't
Last
end in a
time.
black eye.
Yeah, well, last time Joe just broke into my house while I was pissed drunk and just started filming me, and it didn't go over well for anybody involved. So it, this is much better. I have much more control over the situation. I feel more comfortable.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yes. I too would be extremely scared if Joe Rogan broke into my house
He just
and
joins
started
the call all
assaulting
of a
me.
sudden.
Well, like the worst part of it too is I was in my underwear and I was like, dude, you can't use any of this. You're gonna lose sponsors, man. Come on, nobody wants to see my body. It's ridiculous.
I don't know if I wanted to kill the bit there or not, but I just wanted to say I'm very glad to have you here, Chris Arcade. And let me just say, for context to the 14 people who subscribe to this, I have known Chris Arcade for I've known his content anyway, not personally or anything, but I've known his content for a little while. It's pretty damn well made, and I've got a short
Oh
list of
God! Oh,
topics here.
stop it. Keep going. Yeah, pump up my ego. Come on.
Yes. Sponsor him. Sponsor him.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Chris Arcade's own videos. I've only got two topics in the list I wrote down, and I hope we can squeeze enough out of that. I don't know. You seem like a very funny dude, so I hope we
Well,
can squeeze enough
you
out of
wind
this
me up
orange.
and you point me in a direction. I'll talk for literally 30 minutes. So I mean,
Oh, great! The content makes itself. I don't have to say
yeah,
anything.
dude,
Oh, I see.
perfect.
You can replace goose with the PNG of an actual goose, and me with nothing, and we'll have the podcast will be the exact same.
Yeah.
I, I
We'll just cut out all of our audio and it'll just be Chris talking to no one for about an hour.
yeah,
That'll be the
Precisely.
podcast.
yeah, rename it "Random Man on Train in Atlanta Talks to Himself for 45 minutes," and people will click on it. They'll love that shit. By the way, oh sorry, I didn't even ask. Can I cuss? Is that okay?
Oh yeah,
Well,
of course, of course.
Okay, all
I
right.
guess you can fucking cuss. Why are you fucking asking, man?
I'm
It
fuck,
doesn't
man. I
matter.
just I
Shit,
don't want to.
dude. You
Why the
asking if
hell
I can
would you
cuss on this
fucking cuss
podcast?
on our family-friendly podcast?
God damn it! Sorry, I know I've been on the editor side of like, oh shit, I have to bleep all this out now. What the hell was I thinking? So,
Nah, we don't care here.
all
We'll say
right, good to
whatever.
None
know.
of this shit's getting monetized anyways. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll
Hey,
never we'll never get there.
yeah, I'm in
Raise
the
a
same
glass.
boat, my friend.
Well, first up on my list, I've got pulled up here. It's the topic of E3, the thing that everyone's on Twitter and online in general has talked to death. What did you think about E3 this year, Chris?
Like, if I had to rate it entirely as a single whole,
Uh huh.
I would say it's definitely I'm feeling it's like the letter W, you know, but it's like it could be like a letter W, maybe like an R. Definitely out of 10. You know,
Yeah. An R out of 10, my friend.
an R out of 10. Yeah. Uh,
Makes sense.
so I mean, generally, I unfortunately like I can't think there's been a single year in my entire life where I've actually been able to catch every single show at E3. I always miss a couple. Generally, I've had a job since I was like 16, so I'm always working
Yeah.
during the shows. Uh, but I did actually manage to catch a good amount of shows this year, so I actually will be well versed enough to talk in this topic this year.
Wow, good job, finally.
Yeah, finally.
I usually,
Uh,
years prior, I would just kind of watch the Nintendo show, and that's about it. Because before this year, I only had a Switch, and that's it. And recently, I got into PC gaming, so I'm like, I mean, I've always liked all consoles and all companies, but like a Nintendo was always my primary focus back then. But nowadays it's kind of fun to see what all the other companies are up to.
E3?
Man,
Wait, what are you talking about? There wasn't one this year. I didn't see one. All I heard was there was some shit that was some gameplay on a screen, and everybody forgot about it like a week later.
what do you mean? The CGI trailers? Those things that totally are representative of the real gameplay that we get in video games every year?
Yeah, exactly. Even though the graphics are 10 times better than the actual game with no bugs and or problems. Yeah,
Yeah, this
exactly.
this is a game for the Nintendo Switch that we're porting that's definitely not running on a PC right now.
hmm
Totally legit Nintendo Switch gameplay.
Oh, yeah. No. This one's at Nintendo Switch. That's 10 times bigger than the actual Switch and with 10 times more power.
Yeah, dude, it's just running on my Nintendo Switch with a 3090 in it. Don't
hmm
ask questions. It's all good.
I
Damn.
just I just jury rigged it in there. I just duct tape that shit to the back.
Yeah, no big
He's like,
deal. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start at the very beginning with Summer Games Fest, or do you want to
Well,
jump around?
I don't really. I think I'd like to jump around, but I don't really know much about Summer Games Fest at all. I don't really like. I never actually knew about it. Like, I know it existed, of course, but I never really paid attention to it. Is it as big as E3?
So I may be talking out of my ass here a little bit, but the way that I understand that it was is that uh, last year E3 was still really pushing for an in-person event, and all the companies were
Obviously, it
like,
got canceled.
"Fuck no, yeah, fuck, we're not doing that. What are you, stupid?"
"Hmm,
So then they wanted to opt for like some sort of digital platform to kind of still do, an E3 something. Uh, so then Jeff Keeley, is
Jeff
that how you say his
Bezos?
name? Yeah, Jeff
Bezos, yeah.
Bezos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Jeff Ligma, that whatever his name is.
Ah,
He he was like, oh well, we could do some sort of a digital something where companies can still put forth whatever games they're working on for the time being. So I think that's where Summer Games Fest came from, is just a completely digital E3, and it sucked ass last year at least. There's just a lot of underwhelming stuff, but they kept like hyping it up, like they're like, "Oh, you guys, you don't want to miss this Summer Games show. It's gonna be fucking crazy." And you look at it, and it's like, "That's right, we're remastering the fucking ET game from the PS1." Like, oh shit, dude, that's insane. Thanks.
Oh,
whoa,
shit, it's different. It's different colors and wasn't made in 2 days, in 48 hours. Oh my god. It was
crazy.
made in like 3 days now. Not 2 days, 3 days. Yeah.
They ported it to Unreal Engine, and E3 or
Ray
ET
traced
has like,
ET.
yeah, ET has like four more polygons than it did in the original game.
It looks like a fucking PS2 game. This is a
It,
remaster. You do the
yeah,
exact same thing, but in third person,
it runs at
not
10
2D.
FPS.
Hey,
And then we
two
cut
more than
back
the
to Jeff.
original.
Yeah, we cut back to Jeff, and he's like, "Wow, wasn't that amazing, guys? Amazing. ET coming back. Big childhood fan. All right, on to our next world
Just
premiere."
here's a trailer for a game that's not gonna come out in 5 more years. Whoa, get hyped and forget about it. Yeah. Here
It's
you
crazy
go.
because like 90% of the stuff, at least in my experience, 90% of the stuff I see at E3 or Summer Games Fest or whatever bullshit PAX, uh, they it's always like they show really interesting games and then they disappear for like the next 3 or 4 years,
hmm
and then they come back and they barely get covered, but then they release the same year, which blows my mind. It's like there's a game that I was super interested in when it got announced. I think it's called 12 Minutes,
12 minutes.
where yeah, 12 Minutes, and it's basically the entire game takes place in one room. Um, and you're looking at it from like a top down perspective. You have like people like Daisy Ridley and Willem Dafoe are voice actors in the game,
Willem
and
Dafoe.
Yeah.
yeah,
That ugly
Is
mofo.
this is this a like a Man of Medan kind of remake? Is it like a Telltale game?
no,
Because with
it's
these
it's
voice
like a
actors,
see. I thought that it was gonna be like that too, but it looks like it's some sort of like narrative driven, just top down game where like your game changes just based on like individual small things you do because it resets a time loop every time it's over.
so is it The
Huh.
Room, like the Silent Hill game, The Room?
It's like the other one, the one where he's like, "You're tearing me apart." It's like that one.
Oh, that room.
Mm.
Um,
Right.
yeah, that room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
I
no,
hope
it's like
Tommy
I was.
Wiseau gets a cameo.
God, I hope so too. I hope he throws a TV through the window and escapes. I hope he crawls out of my PS5, like hands first, and he's like, all sweaty and wet, like the Danny DeVito scene from Always Sunny when he climbs out of the couch. God, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
You have a
Um,
PS5? Did you just
hell
imply that you
no,
have a
dude.
PS5?
I
Ah,
don't. I have a
fellow poor
PS2
man.
taped to a PS3. Yeah,
Ah, do the math.
and it, yeah. Um, but no, it's like that game got announced 2 or 3 years ago, and then they spent whenever they announced it like 15 minutes like going over the crazy shit that happens in the game. Then it never went anywhere. Like it didn't come up at any other shows. Then it showed up at this show for no joke 2 minutes just to get a release date. And I was like, we haven't even seen gameplay footage of that.
Like, how are we
And
supposed
it's
to know
coming
we want
out?
to buy the product if we don't know what that product do? I can't
Yeah,
consume
exactly.
product like this.
It's not even like a trailer. It's just the date. There's no specific, just the year.
It's just here's the 12
That's-
months release date. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's coming out that year. We don't know when, but that year.
Wasn't Psychonauts 2's
fuck, man.
reveal date or release date revealed recently or something during E3?
I thought
Yes.
I thought that got revealed a long time ago.
Oh, it was first
Psychonauts
announced a
2.
while back, but
Yeah, it
I
was.
think at E3 this year it was revealed the release date.
Yes, I'm super excited for that one actually.
I
Like,
actually just
unironically.
nabbed Psychonauts like last week, and I started playing it, and it's actually a pretty charming game.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Like
I'm
I've never
very
played
excited.
it before until recently, of course.
It's a good game. I'm shilling for Psychonauts. Everyone that listens to this, go buy Psychonauts, or go ask your parents to buy you Psychonauts, or go rob somebody and use the money to buy Psychonauts. I don't give a shit. Play the goddamn game.
Beat the shit
Really
out
good.
of an early 2000s kid and steal their copy they still have locked away.
God, yeah.
Consume Psychonauts gameplay. I'm not giving you a fucking choice.
But
While we're
isn't-
on the topic of Psychonauts, didn't
Oh,
Double Fine, whatever it was called, didn't that studio get disbanded? I thought Double Fine, yeah.
They still
Stopped.
exist, but they're a
Or it was like a
subsidiary.
merger or something
Yeah,
with
they
another
they
company.
merged with Microsoft, I believe, or Microsoft Games, which I don't know if it's like direct
Uh-huh.
subsidiary.
They
I mean,
they bought
it's
it.
not a big deal because the original game was an Xbox and PC exclusive anyway, so...
Or like
I think
Ubisoft.
they're kind of in like a. I'm surprised that we're just now getting to the point where, all these smaller studios are getting kind of sucked up by the bigger ones. Like,
Mhm.
if I remember correctly, it wasn't too long ago that Sega was on the potential chopping block for like being bought by somebody.
Oh yeah, I remember people were talking about that. Like, people were saying, oh, Xbox is going to buy Sega, and I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't see the point
Yeah,
in that.
They
I
have
don't
the money.
either.
Like,
Nobody's
I-
buying a new Xbox.
I mean, who's going to buy a new Xbox for Sonic the Hedgehog? Oh boy,
Me.
Sonic 06 in 4K.
Probably Chris. He'll do a review of Sonic, and he'll be like,
Yeah.
"I spent so much money on this piece of trash just to
I'll
bring you this
be-
video."
I will be the what is it, the self-fulfilling prophecy that every video game reviewer is eventually gonna review Sonic 06. And they'll say the exact same things as the 10 people before them that also made videos on Sonic 06.
You see, Sonic has had a rough transition into 3D.
Well, yeah. Man, where do I even start?
You see,
Oh,
back in the 90s...
this game.
Oh man, there's glitches everywhere. Ew,
We can't
did
find
that woman just kiss Sonic?
We can't
Whoa.
find anything new to write about this game. Okay, let's just repeat the other people.
See, I'll do an April Fool's joke where I'll just stitch together my own review from the 10 other people that have done reviews. I'll just, I'll take like 2 words from Angry Joe and I'll stitch it together to like the Angry Video Game Nerd. Then I'll take some from like the Irate Gamer. Then I'll stitch it together to like, Johnny Versus, then Matt McMuscles. And I'll create this Frankenstein's monster of a Sonic 06 review. And that'll be my April Fool's joke.
That'll be your magnum opus. Let's be real.
Honestly, if I don't win an award for that, I'm gonna submit that to film festivals, dude.
Yeah, I imagine they would. The symbolism would really pick up with modern audiences.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't the script technically be like part copyright because you're taking? I mean, not really because you can't copyright words.
Goose, I'm
We're
pretty
taking it.
sure I've said this exact sentence, so I'm gonna go ahead and have my people forward a subpoena to your residence. Okay.
Ah, god damn it! Third time this
I'll see
week.
you in court, you motherfucker.
Son of a bitch. All right, I'm taking you. We're gonna go Ace Attorney in this. Objection. You did not specify the size of the comically large spoon when you asked for a spoonful. Therefore,
Good old King Bach.
Oh boy.
Uh,
Can we? Are we going to transition into something else now?
oh, I was gonna swing back to summer games.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's
okay.
segue. Go ahead.
By
Yeah,
all means,
okay.
continue.
So, this year was actually pretty surprising when it came to summer games. Like, I was shocked that they were even still doing it because a lot of these companies were still doing their own shows, which were terrible. But we'll get to that. I got my own thoughts on pretty much everything that happened. Good old E3. The big thing that Summer Games did for me, at least this year, is like they had a lot of really interesting indie games.
I've noticed in like the last few years, like indie games have been like way more creative than like the big dudes. It's like
Oh yeah,
I don't know how to
it's
explain it. I'm trying to think of an example.
You have to see, or you have to realize that smaller studios have a lot more creative ability than bigger ones because bigger ones have a lot more pressure on them because they're a lot more well known and they're under heavier time constraints than smaller ones.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Because usually bigger studios, they're very committed to the vision that whoever is in charge has, and they're just like, okay, we are going to do what exactly this one guy says, and none of you are going to deviate.
Yeah, thanks, Naughty Dog.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Bethesda.
and I think that's really what's impressed me about indie games last couple of years. Like Sega says some stupid shit where they're like, oh, people don't like 2D Sonic anymore. People don't like classic Sonic. Well, then this team makes fucking Freedom Planet, and it's amazing. And all it is just 2D Sonic, again.
And then Sega
But they have
themselves hire fan game creators to make Sonic Mania,
exactly, yeah.
which is
So
great,
it's
by the
like,
way. Viewers, go play that.
yeah, Sonic Mania is fantastic. And then they shit out Sonic Forces right after that. So it's like you have a lot, like Goose was saying, you have a lot more freedom when you're an independent developer because you don't have 25 men in suits breathing down your neck trying to tell you all the shit that has to be in the game. You're basically at that point you're making a game because you want to make a game. If you had a project, right, that you were working on,
Uh-huh.
you were like, I'm gonna make a game where you play as a duck and you dig underground for duck treasure and you sell it to the local duck pawn shop.
Mm-hmm.
Who
Duck
the hell's going to tell
Spelunky.
you? Yeah, duck spelunky. Who's going to tell you that you can't do that? You're not going to have some dude above you that's like, that's fucking stupid. It has to have microtransactions. Okay. It has to be at least 15 hours long. We
It
have
has to
to
be
weave
ray
in.
traced.
Yeah, it has to be ray traced. Okay, we need all these characters to talk so we can hire celebrity voice actors to voice them so that people that are casually interested will buy the game. You don't have to deal with any of that shit. You can begin and end the game whenever you want, and you can make your objectives as drawn out or as simple as you want because it's your game and you don't have other people telling you how to do it.
What's this one? There's a game called Bomb Chicken, which is absolutely absurd. You're literally a chicken that shits out bombs, like classic cartoon bombs,
Oh my
and
god,
you
I think I've
use those to get over obstacles. And
yeah.
you know how outlandish that sounds, right? It's not. That game is hilariously fun. It seems like an Adult Swim game, and it's so fun because of its absurdity.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it
on
was in
it's on
a
It
Nintendo
sounds like a cool
Switch.
math game or
yeah.
something.
It was on a Nintendo Direct, like a Nintendo. What is it? An indie? Is that what they call
I
them?
think they call them Nindies or something like that.
Yeah, a Nindy Direct. Yeah, and it's like people shit on mobile games like all the time. They're like, oh, you
Mhm.
fucking dog shit. You fucking $2 to buy more coins and shit. And it's like, yeah, okay, but it's fun, right?
Mhm.
You're
That's all
you're
that
you would
matters.
yeah, you're sitting there having fun, right? And the person that made the game made something that you enjoy. So at the end of the day, what's it matter? You're both getting something out of it.
Well, I mean, the
So
thing about like mobile games a lot is that usually a lot of them follow the same cookie cutter templates. You've either got the games where you build a town and you use them to make resources. And then, looks like next time you get resources is in 40 minutes. Would you like to buy
yeah,
some gems to speed that
Gems,
up?
yeah.
Here's some free gems to
Rupees.
help speed that up.
well, it's
Here
like
you.
And then 30
That's what
minutes
you-
in, they drop you off, no free gems, and they're just like, "Oh, sorry, Link, I can't give credit." And it's just you're on your
Yeah.
own. You got to pay money.
Oh, sorry,
Mm.
dude. We disconnected from the server. You're gonna have to wait another 45 minutes.
Oh, you only get 10 gems at the start of a game, and then every other gem that you get, you have to buy through a store. 24 hours to upgrade your gold mine. You
Well,
want to spend some gems?
these 600 gems are free. All you have to do is give us your credit card information and those 3 funny digits on the back. We're not going to
Hey,
charge you, but we do need that information for no reason.
it's
Yeah.
like that joke just reminded me with gamer subs on their website they have a sampler, and it's like, oh, it's free. You go in, it's like payment and shipping $5.99. It's like, yeah, it's free after you pay for it.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah.
Plus processing, shipping, and handling.
Free T-shirt.
How
What's
hard
the-
is shipping and handling with 3 little packets of powder? Oh, I dropped it. Oh no. Like what? Just put it in an envelope and ship it to my house. I don't care.
Actually, they generally frown upon powder shoved in envelopes and mailed to people's houses. That generally is kind of against the law.
Yeah, because the Unabomber existed at one point in time.
Yeah. What's crazy is that like one of the only mobile games I've had intense enjoyment out of was a game called Burger. And
Burger.
you literally
Burger.
it was a patty it was a bun at the bottom of the screen, and you controlled a frying pan. And patty would drop on your frying pan, and you had to time it right to flip it onto the bun. And then your only goal was to see how high you could get your burger stack.
So, like Papa's Burgeria?
I
You're
don't
saying?
I don't know if there was any other game like it, but there was like no, it was completely minimalist. There's just like no start screen or anything. You just open the app and you're already flipping burgers. And
That's
only
the
thing
American dream.
Sounds insane.
yeah,
That sounds amazing.
I mean the only thing in it was like, and then you could pay like $2 to remove the ads. And you bet your ass I paid $2 to remove those ads and just flip burgers till the end of time.
You pay money to Apple to get rid of ads, which they're already making money off of. I find that
Exactly.
insanely ironic.
I paid $2 to live out the life of every kid at every McDonald's in America.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
And that's,
No way! The app, this game, you're allowed to play as a minimum wage worker.
I've always
Sweet.
wanted to be a minimum wage worker. Holy shit.
you imagine how miserable your life would be if like that was your favorite game and you worked at McDonald's.
Oh
Oh
my god!
no.
You're
When-
playing it on your off time.
When I'm not flipping burgers, I'm flipping burgers.
So anyway, Summer Game Fest, right?
we keep like touching
Yeah.
into that topic, and then like one of us mentions something else, and then we just go like, oh yeah, that, and then we just go off for like 5 minutes, and then you go back to summer games.
They showed off Elden Ring, which
Yes,
is a real
the
game.
new
What's the
Elden
deal with
Ring
Elden
trailer.
Ring? Why is everyone so hyped about that?
It's because
What's the
It's
deal
because-
with Elden Ring?
Dark Souls was basically carrying From Software because their other series died. What was it? The fighting robot series. I forgot the name of it.
Who liked
Armored
to-
Core.
Oh, sorry.
Armored Core. Yeah, that was the name of it.
Yeah, Armored Core. I remember playing that shit on the Wii. That game was fun. It was on the
Elden
PlayStation. It was on the PlayStation 2, I believe.
Elden Ring, like, I am trying to avoid falling into the hole that Cyberpunk kind of put me into,
Mhm.
where it's like getting super excited for a product that very clearly is not ready yet, and it seems like they're trying to, push it out to reach a certain date. What I like the most about From Software games in general is that, like, there are clear carryovers from Dark Souls 1 to Dark Souls 2. There's things that they did a lot better, and there's a lot that sucks ass. And then Dark Souls 3 is like combining both of those two games together and taking the best things that did work and trying to lessen the things that really slowed the game down or bogged down the actual enjoyment. And
Yeah.
then Sekiro is like, okay, let's take the Dark Souls 3 formula, but take it a completely different direction. And then Elden Ring is like the combination of all of those things, plus some of the weird things they did in Bloodborne.
Yeah, well, Bloodborne also carried over the fast gameplay of Bloodborne, carried over to Dark Souls 3, because if you look back to Dark Souls 1, Demon Souls, and Dark Souls 2, You could see how clunky and slow it is. But then after
Yeah.
Bloodborne came out, the fast-paced gameplay that was in that sort of bled into Dark Souls 3. Because in comparison to the other ones, Dark Souls 3 does feel like a newer game. And it is. It is. But you could see the obvious traits of all three of those games into Dark Souls 3. And in Sekiro, instead of having 20 katanas in Dark Souls 3 like they did, they had one. And you only had one character who actually talks this time,
I know,
which
it's
is good.
crazy.
I don't know. Weeb Souls.
Yeah,
Weeb
I'm
Souls.
very excited to see more of Elden Ring.
Me too.
Wasn't it
I
like in
think
development hell or something? Is that why everyone's so excited?
No, it's because George R. R. Martin takes like a year hiatus after writing one sentence and then comes back to do it again. So parts of the story that he wrote probably took forever.
well, I mean, I had said this at some point. I can't remember where I said it. I know I said it publicly somewhere, but I had said like uh the worst part of Elden Ring is like you took the two most perfectionist plagued people in the fiction industry and put them in a room together.
Hmm.
And
Who's
you're
the
like, yeah,
second
here
one?
you go. Miyazaki.
Miyazaki.
Yeah.
Miyazaki-san.
Yeah, that dude'll delay a game like 4 or 5 times if even like one thing about it is not what he wants it to be.
Well,
Hmm.
that's pretty much a good thing because he wants it to be as good as it can be. I
But
mean, I
then
know it's
it doesn't. I mean, there's two extremes: Miyazaki and then CD Projekt Red. Either
Yeah.
release a game with nothing completed that's basically still in development, or Bethesda too, technically.
no
Or
Bethesda
pull a
is where like
Miyazaki.
Bethesda games are just like, oh, they're finished, we promise, and they're just like, they are finished content wise, but then like you kind of go in there and there's no
Technically,
substance and there's glitches everywhere.
Look, I'm
yeah.
part of the Cyber Scam 2077 train. I really think that what they did was they put together prototypes of the game, shopped it around to get grants to work on the game more, then completely forgot to finish the game. And then
Mhm.
whenever it's time for them to actually show something for reason of getting the money, they were like, "Oh fuck, dude! Holy shit, dude! We haven't finished this game at all."
Oh boy, they should have
It's
like
like
delayed it by another year. I would have been okay with that. I mean, I was
it's
not.
like they were in a. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wasn't part of that exclusive like hype club that everyone else was in. I bought it out of curiosity because with birthday money, like because I just felt like it, and uh, it's I think it's an okay game overall, but like I definitely can tell
Yeah,
it's not
now.
finished in any way. Oh, even when on launch I thought it was all right, but nothing special.
Yeah, you
I
could
mean,
tell.
even if there were no bugs at all, I think it's a very bland RPG.
Yeah, and that's
Like,
my thing.
let's be real here. New Vegas, a game released in 2010, has more depth than Cyberpunk, released in 2020.
Yeah.
Like New
You
Vegas
could
actually
tell.
has you actually make choices that influence the story in New Vegas, and yet in Cyberpunk, it's like only like what one of the beginning quests actually has you like make an important choice.
No, it's Cyberpunk. You could tell the developers and like the creative director were probably in a chain email. And they're like, "Hey, are we working on something right now?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're working on Cyberpunk." And they're like, "Did we get funding for that?" And they're like, "Yeah, like a year ago." And they're like, "Shit, we gotta finish it now." And they were like, "Wait, we're still working on that? We didn't scrap that whole game? Damn it!
Oh
Time to
shit.
finish it.
I
Time
thought
to
that
pull
was
an
it.
ET. Time to pull an ET and finish it in 48 hours."
I thought it was just a scam for insurance money, dude. What happened? But
Ah, shit, we gotta finish an actual AAA title this time. Damn it.
I do think that like I don't know. I thought it was kind of dumb that they like marketed it as this like, oh, it's a revolutionary RPG. It's gonna be this big game changer, and like you actually play it, and it's very shallow. It's just a shooter. It's just a shooter with some hacking elements to it. Like it's
Which we don't even use.
yeah. I mean, I think it's a fine game. Like except I can't even play it anymore because despite the fact that like the patches they always claim they're like, oh, it's fixing the game. Look, we're making it better. It's unplayable on my PC now. It is unplayable. It's like 2 FPS. My PC gets all hot. And when on launch, it ran at like 40 FPS and no heat in my PC.
that's the like best thing about that game is that
They're making it worse with every
it
patch.
gets worse
Mhm.
every patch. I mean, I at least can play it consistently now. Before, I have a 2080 in
Yeah.
my rig, and when I got the game, it was like capping out at like 52 FPS, which is whatever. You know, if it doesn't hit 60, I'm not gonna like shit my pants and rip my clothes off and scream and punch a hole in the wall or anything like, you know, most PC
Yeah.
gamers.
Yeah.
You're gonna
But
cry, maybe? Possibly shouldn't
yeah,
come.
shouldn't come. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, then I figured out very early on, I was like, oh, this game has like a really bad memory leak because the longer that I would play it, like anything past like I would say like 2 or 3 hours, my FPS would just start to drop consistently to the point that it was like I was walking in Night City and it was at like 14 FPS. And I was like, what the
Oof.
fuck is happening? I was like, I'm not even
fuck
doing
am I?
anything.
Am I in a PowerPoint? I can't even turn around.
Yeah. I was like, what is this? A fucking like game animated in a command script? Like, what the fuck is happening? And
The Switch
then
port?
like yeah, and then closing the game and then opening it puts it back up to 60. So I was like, oh, okay. So the longer it's open, it is just draining resources in my computer. That's great.
Oh boy.
It's a Google Chrome. Give me your
Yeah.
RAM. No.
Yeah, basically.
I
The more
don't-
tabs you have open, the more your computer's like, please God, just shoot me. Just end
Just-
it.
Unplug me now. I hope I blue screen. I want to be sawed.
Oh boy. But what's really funny though is that whenever I first got it, this was like a few months after launch. There was maybe a few patches. It was like it ran okay, and then like after one patch, it ran like perfect 60 FPS, and I was like, wow, impressive. And then another patch later, it becomes unplayable.
Well, it's like they're taking a page right out of Dead by Daylight's book, and they're trying to make the game worse with each passing update.
They're
I actually
optimizing
like
it.
Dead by Daylight's updates.
Dude,
They're
I-
optimizing it by making it worse.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight is definitely one of my favorite games of all time. I have over
Oh, yeah.
600 hours in that game.
I have like 130 something. I know it's rookie numbers compared to you, but fuck you.
Well, fair enough. But it's like, have you seen? Do you play on PC or console?
PC.
So the console version right now is. I hate when people are like, it's literally unplayable, but it is legitimately unplayable. It stutters and freezes for what is sometimes like 2 and 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I have it on console because I will play on PS4 sometimes.
We
I
should
know
play
I'm
it together
poor boy.
sometime.
Yeah, I'll go to play it if I'm like, oh wait, I still have this game installed. Oh, let me open this up since I'm bored of every other game, and the game looks ugly as shit. It can barely run. Well, I mean, like it'll run, but it like stutters, and I'm like, okay, I can't stand this. I'm gonna have a seizure playing this game. It's just, it's mind-boggling how unoptimized games are for older console generations. And it shouldn't be that hard to do because they literally did it for Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
That game runs fine on PS4 despite
I've
it being
heard,
made
like-
for PS5.
I even heard that like the PS4 version, like you know how like a lot of modern games on the Xbox One or PS4, the fan goes fucking nuts. It sounds like a jet. I've heard from somewhere that if you play Resident Evil 8 on a base PS4, the fan is actually fine. I've heard that somewhere.
That was the craziest thing about Resident Evil Resident
Village.
Evil 8. Yeah, Village. I was like, what's it called? Is that I played Resident Evil 7 totally fine. No issue.
Mhm.
I was even able to play it on like a Intel integrated graphics computer with no issues. But for some reason 8 was giving me a lot of trouble. Like I would just randomly crash and like force close. And I was like, the fuck is going on? And then other people were saying the same thing, where like the PC version is like arguably the worst version, and the PS4 version's totally fine. I was like, what the hell, man? This is normally the opposite.
Well, because
what
they know that
happened?
more people have a PS4 than they probably a newer PC.
Well, that's the
And-
thing. Consoles like set the standard for gaming as a whole because most people are on the consoles, and that's what the developers focus on whenever they're developing games normally.
Unless you're CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
Yeah. In which case you're developing on a system that no human being has access to.
They developed it on a NASA supercomputer.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, they were either developing it on a NASA supercomputer or like the most beefed out TI-87 calculator you've ever seen. Like it's
You know
like the
the-
only in between.
Bro, I
You know-
hooked my RTX 3080 to my TI-84. Check it out.
Bro, I'm getting at least 4 frames. It's
They
crazy.
went up. they went up to the like NASA center at like in like Florida, and they're like, "Hey, can this thing render a star?" And they're like, "Yeah, okay, good, it can run our game then."
Perfect.
Okay, good. That's the only thing that can run our game. Is if it can render an actual image of a star, it can run our game.
I gotta say though, like to the people who actually can run Cyberpunk well on their PCs and like with high graphics, that game looks fucking stunning. Have you seen it in like
Yeah,
ultra
it does.
settings?
Oh yeah,
The
absolutely.
visuals are like, damn, like it's really
Beautiful.
good. Yeah.
And like ray traced and everything.
Oh yeah, it's even better with the ray
Crisp.
tracing. Yeah.
It's crisp.
I guess
great.
like the last point, and then I'll jump back to E3.
We're just going.
I keep
to
forgetting about it.
I guess the thing that bothered me the most about Cyberpunk is that there was so much hype surrounding that game. It was never going to. It basically had inflated past the point that it was ever going to be deemed accessible and acceptable by like the masses. And like you were saying, Berg, it's like the story in that game is nothing phenomenal as far as RPGs go, but it's a good story. I would definitely watch it as like a television show
It would
or
make a hella good action movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Keanu
Like,
Reeves.
I would watch that as like a series on HBO or something, like some sort of like little 8-episode limited series.
And the world
Or
is
like-
very well designed.
I could see
Absolutely.
that. I could see Cyberpunk being usable as like a short for like a Love, Death, and Robots episode. You know
Yeah.
what that is? Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard of it.
That would make sense because it's a little short cameo, and they've had celebrities in Love, Death, and Robot episodes before.
Yeah, just throw Keanu
So-
from Cyberpunk in there.
Yeah, it could be like a short little thing, like eat the important parts of the story from that game. That would make a kick-ass episode.
I guess like the Cyberpunk devs just kind of focused on getting the story and the world out of the way first, and then like, oh, what's that? The gameplay? We only got like 5 months left. What do we do?
Well, I thought you were working on that.
Oh,
You thought I was working. I thought you were doing everything.
wait, you haven't optimized the Xbox One version yet? What do you
who's
mean
driving,
it's 420p?
Who's driving the car then? Did you guys keep up with many Ubisoft games?
The only ones that looked interesting to me in the Ubisoft presentation is
Rainbow
Mario.
Six Containment.
Ew. Nah,
Ew.
the
Ew.
Mario and Rabbids sequel and that game with the bikes. Those looked neat. Like
Yeah,
Mario and Rabbids looks like such a fun game. I'd like to get into it, but that biker game, I don't know even remember what it's called, but it looked like
I
fun.
don't remember what it was.
Happy Wheels.
Yeah, that's the one.
Happy Wheels HD 4K,
It was
Happy Wheels remake.
dynamically
It was like-
rendered guts.
oh god, what was it called? Because I remember it was like Riders Republic or something. I think that actually might be it.
Yeah,
it
that-
just
yeah, I think
popped
it
into my
was.
brain.
Wow, nice job,
Um,
Chris.
Hey, no problem.
Phenomenal.
Anytime. I'll remember something like that, but then I'm trying to remember, life whenever I was like 8 years old, and I'm like, fuck, was I even alive?
I don't know, man.
But yeah, Mario and Rabbids 1 surprised the hell out of me, and I am super excited to see what the second one does, because it's like the guys that worked on that game seem to genuinely care about the game that they're making.
Oh yeah, and it's pretty crazy to like see Nintendo actually let another company make a game with their IP.
Yeah,
When do they
it's
ever
why I
do
was so
that?
surprised. Exactly. Yeah, like they only do it in super select circumstances, like the fact that they let an indie dev handle Legend of Zelda. I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah, Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
I get
All right.
Nintendo maybe making shitty legal decisions, but they're like their relationships with other companies seems pretty tight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
surprisingly.
They're trash at treating their community, but they're great at other community to I'm sorry.
You lost your train of
I just
thought.
had I lost my train of
That's
thought,
okay.
and I just had like a seizure in my mind. So their fans, they treat them like garbage. But
And
then
yet they
if you're
worship
another,
them anyway.
yeah, but yet if you're another company, hey, we're kind of in the same boat together. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Here's my game. Do something with it, but just don't make another Faces of Evil, please.
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
Guadala, we're off. But I was really surprised that
Movies.
bombs, rope oil. There you go.
Rope
Uh,
oil. Wow, not
got
not,
oil
not,
on
not a
my rope.
YouTube poop watcher. SMH.
It's like
It's called Vic Lotion. Rope
It's like
oil.
snake oil, but worse.
Oh boy. Anyway, continue, Chris.
I was surprised that they went with Illumination to animate their Mario movie that's never going to come out because it doesn't exist. But I guess
Yeah,
it's
they
more
announced
so.
it like 4 years ago. It's still
That's
nothing.
it, like
nothing.
almost like 5 years ago, and nothing like we. That's insane to me. The fact that we have seen stuff leak from movies for less, like
Oh
shit
yeah.
that nobody cares about.
Even
People
animated
be
movies
like,
that don't
comic
even
movie.
exist, people have like leaked stuff about them. And yet, like
Yeah.
this Mario movie, there's no info about anywhere.
it has like the same amount of protection as like,
Nintendo's
Azkaban
actual
did in the
games.
fucking Harry Potter
Oh,
universe.
It's like
Got like literal dementors like roaming around the fucking property, making sure nothing leaks out.
finding information on that movie is like finding information for the Black Dahlia case.
Yeah,
It doesn't
boy.
exist. Or if
but
it does, it's in some secret FBI headquarters.
if I had to guess, it was probably because of their relationship with Universal. Universal's probably like, oh, like we own this fine studio. Let
Fine?
them animate this
They
movie
made the
for
Minions. Come on, don't
Yeah.
call Illumination fine.
you.
They
Well,
cursed my
Universal says they make a fucking shit ton of money, dude.
Minions movie.
Yeah.
I've only seen Minions on Facebook mom memes.
Yeah, dude, I have an
That was a
entire
movie?
folder on my phone that's just dedicated to saving Minion memes to send to people.
Is it
cringe.
it's just titled cringe.
Yeah, dude.
Exercise. I thought you meant extra fries.
I mean, looping that in, Minions or Rabbids are kind of like the minions of the video game universe, so
yeah, I'd
it's
say so.
it's all connected. It's
It's a conspiracy.
It's a loop.
it's a
it's
time
a-
loop, and we have to end it.
It's an underground
It looks like you're back with Joe
minion
Rogan.
ring.
We're making
Yeah.
theories here.
Jamie, pull that up for me. Yeah, look at that. Fucking crazy, man. You guys ever do DMT? But
You guys ever drink the water? Don't. It makes the frogs gay. You see?
I don't like
Oh,
them
that's
putting
the Joe
chemicals in
Rogan.
the water. All right, anyways.
What did y'all think of Bethesda's presentation?
I was
They released
surprisingly underwhelmed.
Isn't like the only thing they show like was the Starfield trailer, and even that was just more CG trailer.
It
yeah.
was like
Like
CG mixed with like what they call in-engine footage.
Oh yeah, I doubt that.
In engine, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Oh,
Supposedly.
exclusive to the Xbox Series X. Sorry, fuckos.
I thought Bethesda also came out with a. Well, they didn't come out with it, but Nintendo added like Bethesda's theme stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a few
Oh,
Bethesda
yeah.
games on
Smash.
Switch.
Well, no, they ported Skyrim to Smash Brothers because there's a
Yeah.
Oh right.
Dovakin.
Yeah, he
a
plays the
Dovahkiin,
Dragonborn.
Yeah,
Dovahkiin.
which I mean,
Wait, what's that?
I don't-
Speaking of Skyrim, I know there's like one fact about it. Like I played Skyrim and all, but there's this fact about it. I know. What's that one dragon who helps you defeat another dragon? What's his name?
Parthak?
Parthenax.
Parthak?
You know he has the same voice actor as Mario. It's like Charles Martinet.
what? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually him.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember I figured that out and I was like, what the fuck? And when I listen closer, I can
Parthenax.
hear a little bit of Wario in it. Like, you can almost hear some Wario.
Do I missed.
I'm gonna get
Oh my
somebody in
God.
the comments being like, "Chris, you dumbass." Everybody knows that. But fuck, dude, don't
Don't worry,
know that.
nobody's gonna get onto you. Our audiences don't interlap. Don't worry about it.
Oh fuck you! I'm posting this on Twitter when it comes out.
Ah, damn it.
Hey guys, come check out this an hour-long rambling I was a part of. You see?
Yeah, every time I upload on YouTube, people are like, "Who the fuck is this? Did I subscribe to this guy?"
Who,
So
why are you in my recommended? Get out.
yeah,
I'm trying to watch more Joe Rogan.
I did like the fact that we are getting an Outer Worlds 2. I was excited about
Yes.
that.
I have mixed opinions on the Outer Worlds, but I am happy to see a sequel come out for it anyway.
Outer
As
Worlds-
do I. Go ahead.
Go
guys.
ahead. No.
A lot of-
You're a guest.
lot of go-aheads
please,
going on.
After you. After you.
Okay, all I was gonna say was that Outer Worlds 1 was good, but fetch quest E too much. Story could have used a little bit of more work. good character design, development, stuff like that. But I hope that Outer Worlds 2 has
My
maybe a
biggest
little bit
problem is I
more.
wish the game had like one big world and not a bunch of these smaller ones that have like not much interesting going on.
They pulled
Yeah.
what was it? The one game that kind of had a botched launch where it was
Oh,
way
No
too
Man's
big.
Sky.
No
No
Man's
Man's
Sky?
Sky. It pulled
Yeah.
the No Man's Sky or a Destiny, where it's like go to a different world, but it's actually just one map,
Yeah.
not a whole world.
Well, I
So
think
unless it was the little world from Rick and Morty.
Outer Worlds 1 really highlighted where Bethesda, or not Bethesda, Obsidian, uh, is super good at things and where they really need some work, which is
Hmm.
why they work so well with Bethesda on Fallout New Vegas. And I
Oh
really
fuck
hope
yeah.
since they're in the same wheelhouse now that they'll get a chance to work on a game together again.
If they make
But
another Fallout game, that would be the best thing ever. Like if Obsidian
it,
makes Fallout 5, I'll be very happy because they
look,
actually
Fallout
care.
4 and Fallout 76 have shown us, in my opinion, that Bethesda is not strong enough to carry the series on their own.
Not even
They
Fallout 3 though. Fallout 3's story is terrible.
Yeah,
they,
but at least it's like
At
the
least it's
world
fun.
building in that game is done believably enough
Oh yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm like,
Fallout,
yeah,
Fallout
this
Todd
3's
is
world
good.
is very nice, and the side quests are great.
Todd Howard is no longer capable mentally and or possibly physically
I
to
mean,
handle a Fallout game.
or
No,
games in general. Their last good game was Skyrim.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls 5. That was when I last had fun genuinely had fun playing. Fallout 4 was all right, but I just hunted down legendary weapons so I could one-shot any raider that was too unfortunate to cross my path. And I was pissed off because I was high on jet. That's literally all I did the whole game.
Fallout
in real
4 is
life or
really
the
boring
game?
to me. Oh, I think he's talking about real life.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Oh
Me
yeah,
too.
I
Me too.
inhaled I inhaled meth and went down the streets of L.A. with a baseball bat,
Um,
screaming screaming
so
raider dialogue.
that is so weird. I had a super similar experience, but that's a story for another time. Um,
Yeah,
but
you got some interesting stories here, Chris. You get
I
beaten
found
up
this
by Joe
needle on the
Rogan.
ground one day.
Jamie, pull up that video of me taking my pants off in the middle of an intersection. That's crazy.
So I was walking down the street one day and I
So,
found this needle.
but Outer Worlds 1, like Obsidian is so good at designing characters with really interesting backstories and getting very talented voice actors and actresses to uh, portray those characters in like the best possible ways. Like I would argue that Parvati is
Oh,
one
she's
of
amazing.
the most
Mhm.
detailed and like fleshed out video game characters I've ever come across. And the fact that like what really stood out to me whenever I was playing the Outer Worlds is you have her, delivering lines like, "Do you want me to come with you? I mean, if that's all right with you." And like her facial reaction to those lines matches exactly what she's saying. She'll look away from you, her eyebrows will furrow up, she'll refuse to like kind of make direct eye contact with you. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that is fantastic shit.
Oh
They're
yeah.
actual
100% amazing.
humans.
Yeah,
It,
that looks like a human being.
it's like they actually are reacting like a human would in that certain situation. Not like Fallout where they're staring into your soul like
Oh, yeah, the camera
need
zooms
something?
in. Just
Need something? Blow up Megaton for me. Please.
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
degenerates
But
like you belong on a cross.
Belong on
on
a
a
cross.
cross.
We can't expect
But
God to do all the work. Loads revolver with
We're just gonna do
malicious
some New
intent.
Vegas quotes.
but where they fall flat is definitely the world building. I was so bored with the story
Oh my gosh,
of
yes.
Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Like I
And it's
actually.
like,
Oh, sorry.
well, I was just gonna say, like, it's such a shame that I remember having the thought whenever I was playing it. It's like I want to keep going because I'm interested in seeing these characters through to the end of their storylines, but I don't give a shit about the overall thing that's happening.
Mm-mm.
And like the fact that I guess mild spoilers for Outer Worlds.
Oh. I already know the ending. I remember watching a review about
I'll dance around it.
it. Okay.
It doesn't, it angles itself like it's leading one way, and you're like, ooh, that's an interesting direction. And then whenever you get comfortable with the idea of it going that way, it spins around and goes back the initial way you thought it was going to go. And you're like, oh,
Mm.
well, that's
Lame.
okay. Yeah, that's
They-
kind of disappointing.
They're pulling a Game of Thrones. where it's like, whoa, that person's gonna, for instance, like they're gonna help save us. Oh no, they just died. Oh well, we're back to square one.
Yeah, it angles it as like, oh, this guy could, you know, he may not have your best interest in mind. He could be a really bad guy. You're like, oh shit, dude, I didn't even think about that.
I should give
I've
him
just
over
been
to the
listening to
corporation.
this. Yeah, I've just been listening to this guy this whole time. Who's to say that he doesn't want to, fuck me or kill me?
Or
I don't know
both
which
at the
was
same
worse.
time.
Or both
both.
at the same time. And
With the
then
shrink ray.
with the shrink, and then
Oh,
it just
God.
basically goes, "Nah, just kidding. Everything's fine." And it's like, oh,
Never
all
mind.
right, that's fine, I
Well,
guess.
well. I guess I'll go fuck myself then.
Yeah, I
I
guess
guess
nothing
I'll
really
go fucking
happened.
kill myself.
Yeah, but I am super excited to see what Outer Worlds 2 does.
I
And
love how the
hopefully-
announcement trailer was like a parody of modern day trailers in general. Like it kept
Yeah.
saying like,
Literally-
"Oh, here's lens flare."
And-
They actively made fun of modern trailers. They're like, here's awesome CGI action like sequences because the devs don't have any actual gameplay to show you at this point in time.
I love
Stuff
that.
like that.
But I really
Yeah.
hope they make it a one big world because when the game was announced, I think the only reason people actually bought the game was to shit on Bethesda. Let's be honest. Like the
Oh,
game,
yeah, it
the
came at
game
the
was
perfect
coming
time.
out around Fallout 76, and the launch trailer said with the devs of Fallout New Vegas, which is a beloved game by me and many other people, and it said with the original writers of Fallout 1 and 2. What are the names like Dan something, Tim Kaine and whatever. Anyway,
yeah,
the
the other
original
guy,
writers. And, the other guy. History only remembers one. Anyway, but yeah, the game was like purposefully advertised. Devs of New Vegas with the writers of Fallout 1, and everyone was like so hyped. And you actually played the game, and it's the things. The gameplay is fine enough, and the story is really good. Then like the world is so uninteresting. Like New Vegas had this like environmental storytelling that really worked because it was one big coherent place, and you felt like you were like impacting it. But when you play Outer Worlds, you just feel like a blip in the system. You feel like a chess piece, basically. Well, in New Vegas, you felt like you were actually accomplishing something, or you were part of something big. I hope that made sense.
No. I get you, and I guess that's kind of the thing that really bothered me about Outer Worlds is that by the end of it, it doesn't really feel like you've made much of a difference.
Yeah.
And I get, it leaves the door open for a sequel, but everybody in the universe that they've created is so fucking miserable, and you're like, God, I really wish I could make these people not want to die.
Yeah.
Every day, and then nothing really comes along and changes the overall direction that things are going for them. So it's just like, well.
And then in New Vegas, you're literally
okay.
changing the political landscape of the Mojave forever.
Yeah, and
See-
it's crazy because like sorry, go ahead.
No. You were talking. Go.
Well, I was gonna say like in New Vegas, like just a minor interaction you have with somebody, they'd be like, "Fuck you," and you're like, "Oh, all right." Then it turns out, like 20 conversations and 200 miles later, you're like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, we're best friends. So, yeah, fuck you too." You're like, "Oh my god." All right.
Yeah, you just meet some random merchant with his Brahmin. It's like, oh, you work for Kaiser? Screw you! I hope you die. And then like, you meet a Kaiser guy, and they're like, oh yeah, we killed that trader. He was on our turf.
Yeah.
We looted his shit. Do you want it? It's like, oh, well, okay. Then.
I mean, all right, sure.
There's genuine interaction between people. It may not be
Outer
actually
Worlds has
seen.
that too, though.
I mean, yeah, like a good example of on New Vegas is the Powder Gangers. They literally want to take over a town, and there's actual interaction between the townsfolk and that gang. Right? Yeah, they want to take over the town. Hold on, I haven't played New Vegas in a long time.
Oh yeah, like
Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, Joe Cobb, the leader of the Powder, or well, not the leader, but one of the important people in the Powder Gangers, was arguing with Trudy, the bartender. He was like, "We're gonna burn your town to the ground if you don't give us Ringo." Like the trader they were trying to kill.
They actively
Do it.
Fucking do it.
Do it.
Take him. Take Ringo.
Do it. Do I look like I'm fucking scared, dude? I don't give a shit.
pussy, do it. I hope
it,
the
pussy.
mantis kill you. The mantis will kill you, even though they do like 2 hit damage per hit.
Anyway, wait, what were we even talking about before this? Outer Worlds
We
2?
Outer Worlds
Yeah,
2,
the Outer
by
Worlds.
extension, Bethesda's little press conference,
Right, right.
which
I know Fallout 3 and Bethesda were made in a time where a morality system was like a given in those games. I don't know why anybody ever thought that was a good idea. That sucked.
Well,
I
the
don't want
thing is,
my options lowered by being seen differently, which actually, if you think about it, makes sense because if you shoot somebody in like the actual real world, people are going to look at you as a murderer. They're not going to be like, "Oh,
oh yeah, you're gonna be a
you
murderer.
you helped my grandma across the street. Ah, I'll forgive you shooting my cousin. It doesn't
the
matter.
Fallout 3
We're all folks
morality
here."
system is basically be good or be evil. Like
No,
there's
no,
no
it's be
nuanced
good
choices.
enough. It's be bad enough, but don't be too bad. But be good, but not too good.
And
Be right in the middle.
I think there's definitely ways you can take a story like that, and I think like Telltale's The Walking Dead kind of showed us that where you start the game as a murderer,
Mhm.
and like there's certain
Redemption.
choices. Yeah, it's like a redemption where you could basically lean full into like, yeah, Lee is just a murderer. That's all he's ever going to be. You can be a complete asshole to Clementine the entire game. You can just be a
Yeah.
complete douchebag and make everybody hate you. Or you can basically say like, yeah, I did this, but this was a mistake and this doesn't need to be who I am. You know, this
Mm.
doesn't define me. Because even though like certain people in the group find out about you, it doesn't like based on your decisions because I remember, if I remember correctly, spoilers for The Walking Dead, but it's like almost a 12-year-old game now. So if you haven't played it,
I haven't.
what the hell's wrong with you? What is wrong with
Yeah.
you?
I don't
What's wrong with you? Go
know.
play it now. Stop listening.
Fine.
Go download it. Play it now.
I
Play it on your PS Vita.
I just leave the podcast and just go play the
Yeah,
entirety
get
of
the
game.
fuck out of here.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not my
It's-
it's not my podcast
Go on
anymore.
eBay. Go on eBay. Buy an outdated PS Vita and play it on there.
Is
Like I
Walking
do.
Dead on PS Vita? What the fuck?
Yeah,
It is.
It was.
It is.
What?
Look,
It was.
The Walking Dead, shit franchise in my opinion. It went on for way too long.
I heard the
Both
comics
It's
are
still
still
going
good.
on.
The comic went
Those
on
are
for
the
too long
comics.
too.
Oh,
And the show just needs to stop. I think
It
it's
just
finally
needs.
stopping.
Oh my god.
I stopped
We're
watching
getting
after
so-
the Negan, you know, the infamous Negan murders a few people scene.
Yeah, I checked out after that as well. But there comes a point. Okay, I'll dance around this one too. There comes a point in the story where you can reveal to members of your party that you did murder someone before the apocalypse, and your decisions up to that point basically changes how they view you for the rest of the story. Like some of them may be like, "Look, I don't really care what you were up to before. Like you're helping us out now, and that's all that matters." And others may be like, "Fuck you! Don't talk to me ever again. I don't give a shit. Like if you're doing any good at all, you know."
Mm-hmm.
Just
And then
based on like
those people are who you immediately get killed. If you get
Exactly,
the chance
you're
to
like-
save them, let them get eaten by zombies. Fuck them.
whoops,
You're an a-hole. You get to die.
yeah. But it's like it's more nuanced in that sense where it's like they remember the NPCs remember even their interactions with you, like times you agreed with them, times you didn't agree with them, like things you've said that they were like, "Oh, that's kind of fucked up," you know, things you've done that they're like, "Oh, that's kind of fucked up," you know. They use that, and then based on how many good boy noodle points you got on their good boy noodle card, that's how they react to you. And I think that stuff like that is so interesting, like in a game, especially one that's super narratively driven.
Mm-hmm.
So back to Fallout.
Back to the topic that was covering for another topic, which was covering for the topic of E3 itself.
So back to Summer Games Fest. Anyways,
So back to Joe Rogan, you know, wrestling me pissed drunk.
Back to
Square
the beginning
Enix-
of this podcast.
Yeah, Square Enix is our next game, because the only other thing on Bethesda's show that I had written down was Fallout 76, which I don't
was
really.
was there a
even,
new announcement for that game or something?
Yeah, they announced another expansion that
Oh.
they're going to be working on.
I actually got the
Oh,
game
no.
recently, and it's, I hate to say this, but it's the most fun I've had in a Bethesda-made Fallout game.
okay, so
I keep wanting to go back.
me too. I got it when it first came out, and it was the worst thing I have ever played in the history of ever. It
Yeah.
was absolute horse shit. And now James has been, or I mean, Berg, sorry.
You
didn't
revealed
hear
my
that.
name,
Believe it-
you
believe it-
fucko!
Believe it now. His name is not James. It's
Philip Berg Nut. You fucking.
yeah, Philip. Philip. Berg has been telling me I should go back to it, and I'm like, I'm not too sure. I didn't have a good experience, and he said, no. It's about decent right now. So I keep trying to resist the urge to go into my PlayStation library and re-download that son of a bitch one of these days, and load back up the character that I made probably 4 or 5 years ago. That probably looks terrible, and actually play through the game again.
Like I can't lie to you. I've been having fun with it. Like the quests. I just like going on quests and occasionally running into other players and asking them how they're doing. It's pretty wholesome.
I think I loaded it back up when they did the battle royale, played the battle royale, and then I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I turned it off again and uninstalled it from my computer.
Fallout
Yeah.
Fortnite. Fallout Fortnite.
Yeah, I had it.
Yeah, Fallout
I
Fortnite.
had a, I had So when it first came out, anybody could kill like anybody. So I would just run into people, say hello, and I'd get shotgunned in the face. I was like, "What the?" And I would go to pick up my scrap, and they would pop out from behind a tree like a goddamn ninja and shoot me again. And then I ran into story from my past. I ran into a guy that set up a like car garage with just turrets. So I walked in and I was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? And I was like, hello? And he's like, yeah, this is my base. I'm doing it so I don't get raided and get all my scrap stolen. I said, oh, okay. I misclicked, hit the dude in the head with a baseball bat. All the turrets turned on me and I got killed in 2 seconds. I couldn't go within like a mile of that place without the turrets targeting me. And I would just get shot. And I was like, I'm done with this.
I've had a positive experience with other players.
There's no way, like in Fallout, you could at least pay sometimes to basically be like, "Fuck off! Don't try to kill me anymore." But there's no way that you could there's no way that you can convince another player to stop doing that to you.
My experience with 76 has been like pretty fun. Like I basically just play like a normal Fallout game, and then I occasionally get to talk to other people. That's what I like about it. Like whenever I first stepped into that little town right outside the vault, or not really right outside it, it's a bit of a ways down. But I remember like there was this guy who had his own like metal shack looking base that was like 2 stories tall, and me and another new player came across it, and we were like, "Hey, what do you?" He was in a second floor that was like off access, and we were like, "Hey, what are you doing up there?" And he says, "Oh, this is where I hide all my loot just to make sure." And he came down and he like told us the ropes of the game, like some good advice, and he gave both of us some armor. And I remember at one point I was just taking a stroll, and this guy in this like big old gray power armor was walking like down the street too, and I was really scared because I didn't want him to kick my ass or something. I was like watching him. He walks up to me, drops a bag with a shotgun and a few like some ammo and crafting parts in it, and he just walks away. And I was like, "Damn, what a Chad!"
See, like those people, whether they have like the best stuff in the game, but then they help out new people. Like they do that in some of the GTA servers where they're like, "Here's money," and like those people are fun because then they'll spend like hours with you playing that game and then they log off, and it's like, that was good, and then you have like 10 more bad experiences in a row, and it's
So-
like, okay,
My Fallout 76 experience, I remember this. It just reminded me. Started out completely negative because I was streaming the game, okay,
Mhm.
and I was on the character creation screen and everything, and I'm cracking jokes to the stream and everything, and I didn't realize that other people could hear me until I told a joke and I heard two actual people laugh. And then I was like,
I'm trying to ghost.
hello?
Chris funny moment.
And then I was like, can anyone hear me? They're like, oh yeah, we could hear you this whole time. And I wanted to rip my face off and scream into a pillow. I was like, that is so fucking embarrassing, dude.
What were you saying?
Like,
that was
Jesus
embarrassing?
Christ. I can't even remember. It was just like I had the certain idea. Like, it's weird when you're streaming and you're like, I'm talking to an audience of people that are,
Not here.
not here. But then like it's sort of like doing stand-up comedy. Like, it's different whenever you're doing stand-up comedy alone in your car and you're like, oh yeah, I bet I could do a set. I'll do a set right here,
Yeah.
Then, all of a sudden there's people in the audience that aren't your parents. You're like, oh shit, oh god, that person doesn't know me. that person isn't gonna think I'm funny. So it's just that, and plus it had that moment where you're like, all right, I've been talking for like 5 minutes, and they only laughed at that joke.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, I better get off the stage.
Yeah.
I better log off the game right now.
So I remember I stayed quiet for the entire rest of the character creation thing until I could get out to the open world and immediately mute myself. And I was like, God, I want to fucking die. That was so awful and embarrassing.
Oh, that reminds me. One time I was playing the game and a song I really liked came on, like Maybe by Ink Spots, like on the game's radio, and I started singing along, and some guy walked past me, was like, "Hey, nice singing, bro." I forgot my
Hey,
mic. I thought I muted my mic, so I was just like singing
Slaps
along.
you on the ass on the way by.
You want to sign up for a record? I'll sign you up for a record label.
Hey, you know, I'm with Columbia Records. We'd like to sign you. We heard you singing in Fallout 76. We're gonna send a letter to your house.
Paul.
Hey there, sweetie. Can you sing with that voice on the radio? Hey, it's a Three Dog. Three Dog.
Yeah, it's Three Dog. Coming at you live from the Mojave.
He wasn't in Fallout New Vegas.
No, that's fine. I couldn't remember the other
Three.
From
place.
Fallout 3, you idiot. The Capital
I couldn't remember the fucking Capital Wasteland. That's what it was called.
Mr. New Vegas was the one from New Vegas, the Mojave. You know.
What?
Hello, this is Mr. New Vegas. Just to remind
Wait,
you,
now I'm gonna get
you're a nobody till somebody loves you, and that's
I'm gonna
somebody.
get two
is me.
comments. I'm gonna get 2 comments down below. Like, Chris, you fucking idiots.
Chris.
This is like the
Chris.
second time like it'll be brought up that people are gonna call you an idiot for misremembering something Fallout related.
Yeah, it is probably the 3rd or 4th time.
Maybe.
So next on our E3 list was Square. Apparently, it's called Square Enix, according to Matt Mercer, who hosted the event.
What?
And we've all been
He
saying
sinned.
it wrong this entire time.
He sinned.
Enix? Like
Executed.
Enix?
Enix, and he's saying it's Square Enix and not Square Enix.
I thought it was Square Enix,
You sound-
not INIX.
He seems wrong.
That
I
has
think
to
he's
be
wrong.
What is he?
See, I thought
Russian?
that was wrong too. But I was like, he's hosting the event, so surely they would have told him how to say it, right? And they would have like kicked it back if they're like, yeah, you fucking read this completely wrong, you dumbass.
Potato tomato.
Potato. Yeah.
Yeah. They announced
they got
Guardians
that
of the
Guardians of the
Galaxy?
Galaxy. Yeah.
Oh, I heard about that one.
You see, the thing
Is
is,
it going to suffer?
I'm
Is it
nervous
going to
about
suffer
that
the
game.
same fate as the Marvel game?
Yeah, the Avengers.
You know,
Because
the
that
Avengers game.
the
Yeah,
game was like
the
a
game
shitty-
has the game has monetization in a single player game, and you
Well, I
pay
believe it's
$60
co-op, but-
for it.
There is co-op.
Why? Why do I need to
now?
pay money for skins in a co-op game? Who's playing
I
with
really
me? My
don't
little
understand
brother?
this brings me to something I always wanted to talk about on this podcast. You know something I'm tired of game companies doing?
Making games.
Well, that
Making-
too.
Not putting effort.
They need to make the games I want to make. Or anyway, I hate it when companies go like, "Oh no, it's okay that we have microtransactions. They're only cosmetic." Like, okay, but you're still charging people for something you can usually get for free in games that were full price back in the day. Like skins
Yeah,
were
like-
free back in my day, and nowadays they're like, "Oh, it's okay if we just charge for cosmetics and that's it." And there's people who actually defend that kind of thing, and I'm like, dude, you're an idiot. Like the biggest offense I've seen is, well, they need to make more money, so I mean, you know, and I'm
They're a
like, this is
multi-billion-dollar corporate.
yeah, and the thing is, this is a $60 game with the title Avengers on it. Do you think it's really gonna have trouble selling the Avengers?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because
it-
everyone knew how shitty the game was, and it became such a big like clusterfuck of like people criticizing it. Hey.
Hey,
Hey.
come here often?
Yes, I do come here often. You see, I was asleep
Oh,
for the
nice.
past 20 minutes. Because I do
Oh.
have another topic on the list besides E3. So this next topic is about, you know, your whole comeback to YouTube and everything. Because whenever let me give you like a short story. I was at work one
Okay.
day, and I just started my break, and I pull up my phone. I got a notification from YouTube, and I check it, and it says like, "Oh, Arcade uploaded a new video," and I was like, "Wait, what the fuck? This guy's been gone for like 2 years, or something like that, and it was like some edit of Mario 64 where you made it a teaser for some upcoming video or something like that. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
oh, okay, he's coming back. That's pretty neat, and that's what I want
He's not good.
He didn't get crucified. So
Well, not yet, but there's
Yeah,
always
Guys
time.
are.
the night's still young. So my topic in general here is your whole comeback to YouTube, and things like motivations and writer's block. Any thoughts you have on such things. Did you while you were gone for that long? Did you quit YouTube, or did you just not have any new ideas? So you just kind of stayed silent for a while. Yeah.
It's kind of 50-50 for me because for the first time in my life, I actually have a general sense of freedom with my schedule.
Mhm.
I'll go over the brief history of my little YouTube shindig. So I started this in high school. I started it my senior year of high school. And the general thought behind it was I was at the end of my junior year, getting into my senior year, and I had the thought process of like, I haven't really learned anything in high school. I've not really learned any applicable skills for anything that I've really had an interest in. I really like video, and I'd like to know more about that. So I think now would be a good time to try to teach myself some skills on that front. So I legally obtained a copy of Vegas 100% authentically, and began to teach myself video editing. Then I
Shame
actually
didn't
did
pirate that,
legally
buddy.
purchase. Well, and then I
You
actually
don't-
did purchase Vegas.
You don't pirate Adobe products? What the hell is wrong with you?
Well, I wanted
Everybody
to
does
start
that.
small, so I learned Sony Vegas and had spent time, coming up with like little shorts and stuff to learn the lay of the land. And then I had all these skills and stuff that I built up, and I said, well, what am I going to do with this now? I've spent a couple months kind of teaching myself how to do stuff. I should probably come up with something to do with it, so that way I can show potential jobs that I actually do have video experience. So I was like, well, I guess I'll do a YouTube show, because that, and at that time, Angry Video Game Nerd was still popular. JonTron was at the peak of his popularity.
Oh yeah, definitely. Before he went on that debate.
Yeah, before he went on the
Oops.
debate, Peanut Butter Gamer.
I love that guy.
Brutal Moose, all those people. So I kind of, I basically looked at my game collection, excuse me, and kind of picked out a couple games, and I was like, all right, what should I do here? Like, what would I have the most I could talk about? And I kind of centered in on Spider-Man. And I was like, all right, well, yeah, I'll write about some Spider-Man games.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it was my
It
first
was a
ever video.
two-parter, right?
Yeah.
All those videos.
So I
were
wrote all
actually
that
great.
out. Oh God, I can't watch them now. I really it physically hurts me. So I wrote those out. Filmed them. Spent a couple weeks editing them together, trying to, and then I also got in the habit of I don't know how to do this, but I bet I could learn. So whenever I wanted to do something specific, going through the steps of making sure I knew how to do what I was trying to do. Threw them out on YouTube. Didn't think anything of it. I mainly put it on YouTube because I was like, yeah, I need it somewhere accessible so I can show people. And didn't think anything of it, and just was like, yeah, I'll do a part 1, and then I'll see what I can learn in between, and then do a part 2. Well, it ended up getting really popular very quickly, and I was like, oh, people are actually watching this. And I had showed it to a couple of my friends at school, and they all thought it was cool, and they're like, oh, you should keep doing this. And then some of my teachers had found it. I don't know how.
Magic.
And
Oh,
they
no.
were, yeah, and they were super impressed with it too. I remember one of the most embarrassing moments was my teacher showed my video
To your class?
class.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
and I was like,
Oh,
I
no.
want
Jesus.
to die. But then the kids in the class were actually laughing at it, and they thought it was cool. And I was like, okay, good. I don't have to go home and kill myself or anything.
Not today, Noose.
Not today. But so then I just started, building up from there and kind of getting into a rhythm of trying to, like, my most frequently posted episodes are probably going to be between 2014 and 2015, because that was whenever I was in my senior year of high school, and then I took a year off afterwards. So I had nothing but time.
Oh yeah.
Then when I get into college, that's whenever my time kind of dwindled away, because I was juggling college and a part-time job at the same time. So a lot of I think, if I remember correctly, in near the end of 2015 and getting into 2016, if you look at a lot of those videos, I think there's a clock in the background, and it'll say like 2 and 3. That is 2 and 3 in the morning that I was filming those.
Oh my goodness.
Because that was the only time I had.
Makes
So
You were on that grind, my man. Big respect.
I was on that grind.
Hey man, you gotta grind out the crappy hours on YouTube before you can get the good stuff.
You should have seen
Yeah.
what I was making in that era. Oh god.
We
Dude,
we don't talk about that.
Dude, like
I definitely oh, go ahead.
I mean, come on, like if you see like if you want to see a clips of like a 12-year-old autistic boy playing with plushes, then my old content was for you.
Dude, I used to make little videos, like, playing with action figures and coming up with little storylines for them back when I was like 8 and 9. So I 100% understand. I've had YouTube channels before this where I just kind of posted like just cringy little short films that I worked on. Those are all purged and gone. Good luck trying to find them.
Ha! I
but-
actually archived a few of the old videos I made, and I even made a video called the Bergnut Files where I dug through some of those videos and just laughed at them.
Yeah, I have a couple of them burned to a DVD, and I
Oh,
will
that's
decide
nice.
one day.
Oh, that's old school. That is
Yeah.
a very
Release them
old
as
school
merch.
sentence.
Whenever you get like a bigger audience, just sell them as merch.
I want to do as a, like, if I ever get to 1 million subscribers, I will
Oh, good luck.
break those out of the vault and I will review them.
Let me turn up my mic really quick.
Lord.
Okay, so can you guys hear?
Oh my lord!
You can hear the paper now, right?
Okay, get to the point, Goose.
Anyways, so you're gonna pull up like paper, like a notebook, and be like, okay. So I got all these old videos that I'm gonna comb through. Now this is some found footage snuff videos, so avert my eyes.
These are going to be
These
for
are-
Patreon exclusive subscribers.
No one else can see this unless you pay me money.
Oh
It's
boy.
for your own safety. It's like The Ring.
Yeah,
You die in 7
honestly,
days.
some of those that I made were so bad that honestly you would probably want to die quicker than 7 days. Yeah.
For me personally, though, when it comes to like cringy old stuff I've made, I actually look back on it like fondly in this like both nostalgic and fun sort of way, and also because growing up and undiagnosed autistic was a kind of a bitch for me, and seeing how much I've improved with my social skills is very very, very good to see. Compare myself to like me like 5 years ago is very good to see. So whenever I see those old videos, I'm like, yes, I guess I am a functioning human being.
You're
Yeah.
incognito autistic man now.
Yes,
Yeah,
most people don't even notice.
believe me, I definitely sympathize. I was a cringe lord in a lot of my public school years.
Yeah. Oh boy, I have a lot of memories. I mean, for some reason though, the videos I will enjoy that I've made back then, but specific memories from school, I refuse to think about them, or else I'll sit up at 3 a.m. at night and just sit up like stare at the ceiling.
So, would you rather eat 100 bricks or a matter baby?
What?
A matter baby.
I
don't know what that is.
baby.
A matter baby. Yeah.
What even is that?
Yeah, I don't know what that
100
is.
bricks or a matter baby. Choose.
I don't know what that is.
What is a matter, baby? Oh,
Nothing sugar. What's the matter with you?
Oh, god damn it.
you fucker. You.
I like it when his mic peeks out.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
It's what makes the podcast worth listening to. Just his mic freaking out. We've got the same brand of mic, and yet mine sounds a lot clearer than his for some reason.
His sounds like it's at the bottom of like a cereal box.
Like mine sounds okay, but his is just like it's submerged
See,
underwater.
that's my name. So
Excuse
Uh,
me.
to cycle back around to the other part of the question you're asking is basically I think it was why does it take me so long? Was that generally what you were trying to ask?
Who, me or him?
Yeah,
I believe,
you.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
you.
My question was like, what was your motivation to come back to YouTube again and start making content yet again?
Oh, because deep down, under all of the cynicism, I actually do like making videos.
Yeah, me too. But I never have time
Yeah,
anymore.
it's
Agreed.
it's very. So I will admit that like in a certain degree, it does kind of stress me out, like thinking about new videos and thinking about, oh God, I gotta carve out time to actually produce that thing that I want
Yeah.
to do. And but whenever I do get a really good idea, or if I have a really funny gag,
Mm-hmm.
that enough will drive me to want to do it. Um, I have so many ideas. I don't even want to say them because if I say them, I'll run into another case where I like keep promising a specific video and it never comes out. But I have a lot of ideas for videos that I'm super excited for, and like that has kind of pushed me to want to produce. Like I went on a like 7 or 8 month hiatus and just recently kind of rebranded myself from Arcade to ChrisArcade.
I
And
think. Oh,
the
sorry. I
oh
keep.
no, go ahead.
I have a bad habit of interrupting whenever there's like a small gap in words. I remember like you mentioned in your like announcement video for coming back, you said like, "Oh yeah, I noticed how people, despite the fact that my username has an exclamation point, which making it arcade, people still couldn't find my channel." That is so accurate because every time I wanted to find your channel, I'd have to type in arcade and then I type in Smash clones because of that one video you made.
Yeah,
I always
yeah,
typed
and
in arcade Smash clones.
that was the same thing that people were telling me. They're like, I have to search for a specific video I know you had made, and
Yeah.
I didn't understand like why that was such a problem because I didn't. This is really stupid. I didn't even realize until I was taking a marketing class in college whenever they were going over like search engine optimization, like when you're building a brand for Google, building a brand for Instagram, something like YouTube
Mm-hmm.
that uses Google as its main source of search results. They were like, yeah, specific punctuation doesn't matter. Like it doesn't get factored into a search. I was like, what? Like, yeah.
Mhm.
And they're like, yeah, like Chips Ahoy, even if you put the exclamation point in there, it's not gonna do it. And I was like, oh my God,
Oh god,
I gotta go.
you just leave class,
I've
you
made a
quit.
terrible mistake.
Hold that thought. The bat symbol's in the sky.
I have to drop out of class right now. I can't show my face.
You
But
sprint
then
back
that
home
was
on foot, change the channel.
yeah,
Yeah. Runs
that was
home.
whenever I realized I was like, oh fuck, I've made a terrible mistake. So
Yeah. You gotta have something like smaller channels. If you look them up, they don't come up. You gotta have a big
yeah,
channel for it to pop up like boom front and
Well,
center.
unless you've got like a very unique name.
Hmm.
Like
which
whenever I want to search up your channel, Goose, I have to type in. I have to specifically get the underscores that for some reason you have in your fucking YouTube username. So I have to go like, oh, have underscore a underscore goose
Hey,
underscore.
I might change it one of these days. Who knows? I might change it to something else. All right.
But yeah, Chris
I don't like.
Arcade. Whenever I search that up, I have no problem finding your channel. It's just right there.
yeah
Maybe I'll
now.
put goose exclamation point.
Oh,
And
perfect. Yeah, that'll help.
yeah,
Goose
everyone will
question
find
mark.
your channel.
So it's like
Goose.
goose maybe.
Yeah,
Who knows? Could
if
be a
there's a
duck.
if there's a moral to the story, it's definitely use punctuation as an identifying factor in your brand.
Oh yeah,
Everyone loves that.
Hmm.
and it works perfectly in search engines.
Absolutely.
And
But
luckily, the name
um
Bergnut doesn't have much competition in a search engine. All I've got are like 2 videos saying Bergnut turns 50, and that's it. And then it's just me.
Beautiful.
what are the other two? I mean like Have you watched them? You've had to have watched them, right?
I haven't watched. Oh yeah. Also, what's funny on Twitter, I had to call myself Bergnut1 as my username because there's some guy in China named Bergnut, and he's nuts about Burgundy. In his bio, he's
damn.
nuts about Burgundy. The real Bergnut is on Twitter, and he's taken over my life.
I'm ChrisArcade1 on Twitter because I tried to contact Twitter about getting the ChrisArcade handle because it belongs to a guy that literally has not tweeted since Twitter was a website. Like he's just had the handle this entire time. And I tried to get in contact with him and they wouldn't ever reply to my emails, even though I know you can do that. I know you could message them and be like, "Hey, can I have this handle? No one is using it."
Hold the
So
phone. Did I
Like
get banned from Twitter?
it's some 50, it's some like 50-year-old guy. Like you get a message, you message him, and he's like, "What the hell? I don't remember this. What's Twitter?"
I think I just
Did
got
you get
banned
banned
from
on
Twitter.
Twitter?
I think I did. Everything's saying error, not working or whatever. Bergnut Twitter. Did I get banned?
Imagine getting banned from Twitter. Imagine getting banned from
It
Twitter.
just says
Oh
something
no,
went wrong.
no, mine's doing that too. So I guess Twitter's just down.
Oh, I was like, did I get banned? I was just sitting here like, what the fuck happened? I was trying to
Yeah.
I was trying to look up the other Bergnut on Twitter, and I was gonna be like, oh yeah, he's still active. But then it said it's not working. So I was like, what? Did Bergnut block me? And then I was like, I'd look at my profile, and it's not working. And I was like, did I get banned? Why would I get banned? What did I do? The worst thing
They
I've done
hurt
is
you.
the worst thing I've done is diss zoo files, and that's it. And that's based.
You weren't joking. He's nuts about Burgundy.
He sent
Wait.
like a hit contract to Twitter, and they took me out. He didn't want Bergnut competition.
I got a farm this.
To answer your question in a general sense, it's like my desire to create outweighs my laziness and um my long periods of like stagnation. So I will force myself, just brute force myself through a a writer's block or a period of like null creativity just so I can have like, oh yeah, here's a good example. My Friday the 13th video I did.
Like the DVD versus Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
That is my favorite video of yours. It's really well made. It's like some shit
Thank
you'd find
you.
on.
I
It's like
agree.
some shit you'd find on Peanut Butter Gamer. I even showed Goose this. Like, whenever
Yeah.
whenever you first agreed to get on this podcast, I was like, Goose, watch this video. Like, I sent him a link to it because that shit.
I
is
really appreciate
good.
that. It's
Yeah.
probably one of my hardest videos I've ever worked on. I had to get a literal crew together. So
You even got a guy to play Jason, and he actually did a good job.
yeah, so that was the thing is that I had the idea for the video for a while, and I go to a lot of conventions, and I met the guy who plays Jason at a convention, and he's obviously dressed as Jason, but I had run into him so many times at so many different conventions that we ended up following each other on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and then just out of a random thought one night I was like, I have this idea for a video, but I would need someone to play Jason, and I was like, I know someone who could do it, but
Ooh.
it's completely up to him as to whether or not this would happen. So I ended up reaching out to him and saying like, hey, I have a video I want to do, would you be interested? And I sent him my channel, and he was looking at my stuff, and he was like, yeah, I'd love to do this, but location was a problem because he's located up in North Carolina, and he was like, I would only be able to do it like this weekend, and he had basically put aside a weekend for me, and I was like, oh shit, that's really soon.
Wow.
And I had said, all right, yeah, I could do it, and I wrote that script in 2 days
Holy
and
shit.
got it done before we had to leave to meet him in North Carolina. So, and then we filmed the entire episode in a single day.
You did
So
a
it
good
was-
job on that
That's-
then.
Yeah, that's some commitment right
I
there.
appreciate it. It's definitely not my favorite as far as writing goes, because I definitely some of the jokes in that kind of come off a little forced, and I'm like, yeah, but the thing is, like, I just watched it again the other day because I try to watch some of my older stuff to kind of get inspiration to work on more.
Mm-hmm.
And I also try to think about ways I can do that better. But I was watching through it and I was like, yeah, I mean, it's not like the funniest video I've got, but I also can't think of any ways to do these jokes differently. So I guess I did the best that I could with what I had.
And that
You know?
production value was hella good.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that one. I ended up asking one of my friends at the time to film the video for me, and I ended up liking his camera so much that he was using. I went out and got one myself. So
What kind of it? What kind is it?
Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K.
Black Magic. That's the same. That's the same company as my editing software. Huh.
Oh, you use Blackmagic
DaVinci. Yeah. Anyway.
I hate that program.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I
it's just I don't understand it.
oh
It's my main problem.
I've been using it for a little while. It's what I use to edit all my podcasts. But can I just go off on a brief tangent right now? Just a brief one. Just a brief one.
Absolutely, yeah.
So for the past 3 months or so, I started this live stream series where I would play Fallout New Vegas, but as a pacifist, and I had this stupid character named Timid Tim. It was a fun time. I did 6 episodes. They're each 2 hours long. My voice cracked again. I hate that. But
What was wrong?
anyway, I eventually I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a highlight reel out of this, and so I downloaded all of the streams. I got to work. I grinded for a whole week, and I render it. The file's there in my computer. I send it over to YouTube. I start publishing it, and it won't process. It just won't process. It gives up and says, sorry, delete the video. And I rendered it 4 times that night. It was a 2-hour video. And a 2-hour video rendering, you can imagine, takes an hour and a half long, right?
Right.
And so I had to sit there. I was up at 4 a.m. Waiting for that video to render for the 4th time. And when it didn't work again, I just fucking gave up.
The moral of the story is always make a backup
And
save 2 copies.
and pirate Adobe products. Don't pay for them.
I can
Because
neither
obviously it doesn't make a
condone-
difference.
I can neither condone nor agree with that mindset. But I will say do what works for you.
Mm-hmm. If you're too
Adobe,
poor, pirate it.
absolutely.
If you can afford it, buy it. Support them.
If that is what your heart is telling you to do, follow your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it leads you to a life of crime.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And I'd say we followed our hearts into a very fruitful episode. What do you say?
That was a
Both of
damn
you?
good segue, Goose.
That was a fantastic segue.
I
Yeah.
know.
I
They
gotta
call
give
me
you an
butter.
award.
They call me butter on the streets because I'm smooth.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I now realize your value as a co-host,
Yes.
other than the funny mic breaking.
Yeah.
And he's a goose. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we can't take that for granted.
So this is
God,
Holy
Jesus.
shit. Well, Mr. Chris Arcade, this has been very fun. One of the most fun episodes I've had. I've laughed more in this episode than any other one.
yeah.
You have been a very good guest, I gotta say, and I look forward to talking to you more in the future, if possible.
Well,
I
thank you.
second that.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. I really have enjoyed our time together, and I think that this has been really fun. I do appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah.
I look
hey,
forward
no
to seeing
problem.
you more often, man, if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, fellas, thank y'all for watching. To the 2 or 3 people who watched, this has been Bergnut, and I believe my co-host is a duck. Goodbye.
Yes. No, I am a goose.
Shut the
And
fuck
then
up.
we have. Fuck you, alright? I'm the co-host. I can kick you off this podcast just as much as you can.
Ah,
Alright?
damn it. You're right.
Hey, Chris, I think we got an open position. You want to be the new co-host?
You know what? How well does
You're
it
not going to be
pay?
making anything. But
God damn it, never mind.
all right. Well, that's out the window. Maybe I'll ask Joe Rogan.
Good idea.
All right.
Anyways,
All right.
for real, goodbye, folks.